We're in Westport, Connecticut right now. The pools are opening up, and we're on the water checking out the premier design group of modern luxury, the Vita Design Group. Lucian Vita and David Denam are gonna tour this sick property with us. Let's check it out. David, Lucian,
hi Mike.
Thank you so much for having me and the team in here to tour this awesome property and an amazing example of your guys' unbelievable work. So where are we today?
Well, we're here in Westport, Connecticut at a recently finished new construction project that we've done, a custom project for one of our clients, a waterfront project, which has been really sort of tailored to take best advantage of the views and enjoy the outdoor indoor living that's so critical for a waterfront property.
So you had somebody come to you and say, you create the architecture, and design it and build it, and I want this custom, gorgeous home. We're on the water, the views are incredible, and I mean, the build quality in here, just the elements and like the use of space.
Yeah, really when it comes to planning the space, we like to make sure that there's a lot of continuity from one space to the next. Without making it feel like one big studio. So you'll see how the kind of space moves through organically, turns around the corner, and all of it sort of culminates at this focal point where we have these sliders which open up really in two directions to create this open corner, allowing for freedom circulation from all sides out to this outdoor living. What we do is we try to come up with a concept for the client that's both very sort of aesthetically pleasing, but also falls within the necessary budget constraints and concepts. And so we work together on the build and the design side to make sure we can really converge on that right balance between budget and highest quality and design possible. Millwork panels that start at the entry and wrap their way around into the living room. And that's complemented by a ceiling detail, which basically identifies each area. Without having to place walls, we use a ceiling to actually sort of delineate each of the spaces.
I totally get it. And then the ceiling pattern and like what was done on the ceiling here?
So what we did was a series of drop ceiling and then recessed areas, raised areas. And in the raised areas, we actually used a wall covering to give it a texture and a warmth consistent with the color scheme of the house. And then that also created a little bit of drama and material variation where we center all of our recessed fixtures. And we use the recessed areas for recessed fixtures and a dropped area like down here for our drop fixtures. Except over here we have the dining room, larger fixtures kind of centered on these key elements like the dining room table and kitchen island. Actually, if you notice in the ceiling detail, there's a gap between that lowered portion and the outside walls. And we have shades which are tucked up in there that are automated so the owner can hit a button and the shades come down across the first floor. Totally hidden. We don't like to show like little kind of panels that are accessible.
That's the great part of being design build is that we try to achieve these details working together over countless hours and trying to give the client exactly what they want in a seamless construction environment.
This is actually a pre-finished engineered flooring is called. And the advantage here is that the finish on it is extremely durable. And it's a solid wood layer set on top of a plywood base. And that plywood base actually acts to keep the flooring very stable. So you don't get that kind of separation between the boards and the warping that you sometimes see in floors. So it's a great product.
And then I love that when you come in, you have this staircase, but you did the tempered glass, was my favorite, because it's a see-through kind of feeling.
Well, you know, what the owners wanted is when guests came in, they wanted to be able to be greeted with the view. But we also wanted to site the staircase central to the entire second floor for good circulation. And so in order to do both, we had to do a completely see-through staircase so that when you walk in, you have the function of the staircase, but it doesn't interfere with the view at all.
That's the modern style, as opposed to that old sheetrock and wall that would have been there in the house. So then you come in, you could go downstairs, but why would you? Because you have this view. You have this awesome living room with this big window right out to the front. Your kind of nano kind of, what do we call it? Like a nano window? What do you call that?
An open corner pocket slider, so that operable panel pockets into the wall, so you don't even know it's there when it's open.
Beautiful. And then you can go right out, and the view is insane. This is the big new thing, is the large dining room table in the open concept dining room. But I love this placement because you have this kind of built-in over here with this ledge, and then you have the beautiful view of the pool.
Even people who sit on this side of the table, because we have the staircase with all the glass on this side, they get the reflection of the view back out through this window.
Oh, yeah, you do.
So you get a water view no matter where you're sitting.
Yeah. So nobody has a bad seat.
That's right.
This flows into the kitchen, which is beautiful. And this is one of the thickest islands I've ever seen with the waterfall edge.
This is actually a product called Glassos, which is basically a glass product. It produces a very clean effect. Yeah.
Obviously, in kitchens are super important. You want to make sure that obviously it's open, check. High-end appliances, double ovens, Wolf range, check. Wet bar, wine cooler, check. Beautiful view out to the water. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Is this iPay flooring?
It is, yeah.
So you learn a thing or two on these property tours, guys. You know, every once in a while. I go to Home Depot sometimes. You know? What's the tile or the stone used on the patio there?
That's a porcelain tile. So like bluestone, typically, if you were walking on it in a hot summer day, it would feel hot to the touch. Where these don't absorb the heat, more comfortable.
It speaks to your efficiency, the fact that you guys have this like all-in-one shop. You know, you're like the Amazon of luxury home builders over here. This is pretty cool.
You know, you want the view from the bathroom, but you also might want privacy. You know, it's becoming very popular, this type of what we call a wet room, because it actually saves on space. Normally there'd be an aisleway between the shower and the bathtub here, but that would only serve to shrink the size of the shower. So it creates more flexibility and openness in design.
That's so smart. This is another bathroom. What is this material?
That is a porcelain, and what gives it its sort of sparkle is the fact that it's got a knurled surface to it, kind of like a textured surface.
Yeah.
It's not really a sparkle, but it's the way the light shines off of the faceted face of it that gives it that effect.
Huh.
Yeah, we really love it.
I've never seen that before.
Yep.
That's cool.
Over here we have a waterside bedroom. This is for the kids.
This has the nice view. So this is the kid that you like.
Out of the 4 bedrooms on the second floor, 3 of them have water views. It's always important to try to maximize that kind of benefit for our clients.
And this truly is, the location of this lot that you guys built this on is truly one of the best lots.
In this house in particular, all of the finishes that you see on the ceiling, on the walls, the floors, and even the furnishings were all done by our company. For instance, this table here is an extra long table. It's hard to find these. Very thick top. This is actually a custom-made and designed concrete tabletop with a wood base to match the rest of the wood tones in the house. So a lot of times, in order to fit the space just right and the aesthetic just right, we'll do custom furnishings for our clients as well.
How often do you get clients that will say, hey, can you also furnish everything too with all of that?
More than half of our projects, clients are looking for that.
For outside, how could you not talk about this outdoor area? Concrete pool, the beautiful design overlooking the water in Westport.
We really wanted a flow from the house to a patio that's all at the same level. And so you can see how we kind of built that out and then let the grade spill out that way.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to make sure that the continuity between the house and the pool was as smooth and easy as possible. Outdoor shower, outdoor cooking area, some dining, some living, all the boxes are checked.
I mean, this is my favorite area of the house, I think, this kind of inside-outside space.
Yep.
Like the 2 living rooms.
In this covered porch area, we have powered bug screens that come down so that when there are bugs outside, but they want to maintain that continuity between the indoor space and outdoor space, they can do so without worrying about bugs coming in the house.
You're able to get a good sized pool.
15 by 30 around there.
15 by 30. And then an automatic pool cover, right?
Yes, you got it.
Beautiful.
Kind of hid that underneath the tile so you don't see any of the mechanicals of it.
I mean, it's so inviting.
Everything we kind of conceal that's mechanical.
So there you have it. Thank you to the Vita Design Group for letting us showcase this amazing property in Westport, Connecticut. And like always, everybody, till we tour again.